Hi, today we're going to understand how we can create a PDF file out of a Notion form. As you can see in the background, I have got a Cheer Camp registration form opened up, wherein a user can fill in all the details for this particular registration form, and once they click on submit, the responses go to the responses side of things under this particular database. What I want to do is I want to create an automation setup wherein I can create a PDF file completely on automation for all the responses that gets captured onto the responses view. So every response that comes to this particular database, I want to create a PDF file out of that. For this, I'm going to use a tool known as PDF Output. PDF Output will help me create the PDF files completely on automation with the help of a Google document and a Notion database. So let us understand how this will work. Click on Create PDF and quickly sign in with one of your existing account, which we are going to use for this automation setup. So I'm going to quickly sign in with one of my account from this list, and then we will see the rest of the steps. So first things first, it will ask you to add a Notion database. So we need to add the database which we are having on our workspace. Then we need to add the document which will be used for the automation process. And finally, we need to map the fields of the database that will populate onto the document to create the PDFs on automation. So let's click on the drop down in the database side of things and click on add Notion database. And it will allow us to add the database from here. So I will just simply copy the title of this particular form, and I will put the title inside this selection screen. So over here you will have two different options. You can go with the default template which I've already provided. If you go with this option, it will create a duplicate copy of a Notion database which you can use for the testing purpose. But since we already have the database available, I will click on select pages, and again I will click on select pages. Okay, I will enter this particular database title inside this search pages. So I will just paste it over here, and you will be able to see the particular form pop up over in the selection. Click on this, and the form has been added for a use case. You can use this exact setup for any kind of form like invoices, contracts, agreements, or whatever you wish to do so. This is just a demonstration for the cheer camp. Okay, so now an additional thing which I want to highlight over here is that whenever you want to add a database, simply copy the database title and add it inside the search pages. Okay, and do not add the database by selecting these top level pages from this list, because it takes a while to load the database and your experience will not be smooth. So always and always copy the database title and put it inside the search pages to add the database. Okay, besides this, if your database is connected to other databases through relation and roller properties, so let's say the CheerCamp registration form is connected to database A and database B through relational properties. So you need to add this CheerCamp registration form over here. You also need to add the database A over here, and you also need to add database B over here. So make sure you add all the relational databases as well as the main database which is being used, so that all the relational and roller properties appear in the PDF file which will be created later on. Okay, so this is very important to connect all the databases which are used in this particular main databases, so that all the properties which are being used will appear in the PDF file correctly. Let me scroll down and click on allow access, so that it will give access to the database. And now you will be able to see the CheerCam registration form appear over here. If it is not coming up, simply refresh the page once or twice, and you will be able to see the particular database appear over here for your use case. Okay, so let me refresh once again, and you will be able to see it soon. So sometimes it takes a while to load the database, but it will eventually load and you will be able to utilize it for the automation setup. So as you can see, it has loaded up the CheerCamp registration form. If you scroll down, you will be able to see all the properties of the particular form which we have created over here that can be used for the mapping section, which we'll be looking at later on. Okay, so all the properties that has been used in this particular database are visible over here, which can be used for the mapping section. So it's time to add the document over here to automate the solution. So click on add Google document. You have two options. You can go with an existing document. So if you have an existing document on your drive which you want to use it, you can go with this option. But we do not have an existing document available. So what I will do is I will simply click on add demo document, and this will create me a demo document quickly for our use case, which we can use for the automation setup. So let me remove this part which we do not need, and I have this placeholder section added up over here, which we'll be using for the automation steps. Now you can see one thing over here, that all the fields of the particular database that we see over here, like address, age, and all these fields are automatically visible over here and they have automatically been mapped for our use case. Okay, so you have all the fields from the Notion database correctly mapped over here, and once the automation begins, it will simply replace these fields that are inside double curly brackets with the values from the database one by one, and then it will generate the PDF file. As an example, the address field over here will be replaced from the address column that we see over here, and the values from the address column will be fetched onto this particular field, and the PDF file will be generated. So let us understand how that will work. But before that, what we need to also understand is the PDF file name can be defined over here. So how I want to generate the PDF file, I can define the name from this particular database. So let's say I want to generate the PDF file by the camper first name. So I can select camper first name from this list that appears over here, and all the PDF files will be stored as per the camper first name, whatever is written inside this particular column. And if you scroll to the right side of the database, you will find two additional columns, that is generate PDF and PDF file. If any record is marked as ready to generate, it will automatically create the PDF file for those specific records when the automation begins, and it will store the PDF file right inside this PDF file column. So make sure to mark the records as ready to generate whatever you want to create as PDF file. The last thing which we need to understand is these fields that you see over here. If you want to map any of the fields onto the document, so let's say I want to add the grade or level from this particular property, so I'll click on copy. It will copy the grade level field. I can go to the document and paste it anywhere, so I can use Control V or Command V, and it will paste the particular property onto the document live. Okay, similarly, let's say I want to copy gender. You can click on copy on the gender and you can put it anywhere. Okay, so make sure you are using Control V or Command V on your keyboard as a shortcut to copy and paste the properties live onto the document for the mapping. Okay, since everything is automatically mapped, I do not need to do that. I can just simply click on download PDF, and it will start generating the PDF file, and it will store the PDFs right inside this PDF file column. So it takes a few seconds to generate the PDFs, but once it is generated, it is also stored on a downloads folder, and you can see the PDF file has been created over here. So let me click on this, and the PDF will be visible for my use case, and you can see all the fields that we had created have been correctly mapped from the database. Okay, so every field that we had have been fetched from the database, and they have been correctly mapped. So you can see both the documents have been created with all the corresponding mappings whatever we needed. This is how PDF output works. Another thing to note over here is that you have this option of setup Notion automation. Once you click on this, it will create an automation to run forever, and now you do not need to come back to PDF output ever again to generate the PDF file. Whenever a user would submit this particular form and the response gets captured over here, all you need to do is you need to mark the records as ready to generate, and it will automatically create the PDF file for you right over here. So in this way, you do not need to go back to PDF output to set up the entire thing from the beginning. You just need to simply turn the records as ready to generate, and the PDF file will be created for you right in this PDF file column. That is all you need to do. So this automation works hands-free, and you do not need to juggle between PDF output and the database to create the PDF file. Everything happens real time, and the PDFs are stored right inside this PDF file column in your database. So I hope this explanation was helpful to you. If you still have questions, use this chat bubble at the bottom. Send me a message with your queries on this. I'll be happy to take up any issues on that. Or else you have this contact section at the bottom of the home page, which you can take help of and send me an email with your issues on this. You even have an option to book a free demo, and I will